Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Koki of the Seahawk Recap Show, and welcome to another Seahawk game recap. It's Monday Night Football, Seahawks versus Texans for your Week 7 matchup. And this game was a late game on the double night, Monday night header for your Seattle Seahawks. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time start. So it was 2 p.m. by the time I got to bed last night. But I'm here bright and early this morning to recap this Week 7 matchup for you guys. And in one word, if I describe this game, happy with the win. But this game was too close for comfort. And let me get into recapping this game for you guys before I ramble on too much more in the intro. Let's recap this week 7 matchup. If you like these videos, please consider giving a like. It lets me know if I'm doing a good job with these videos or not. And if you'd like to be so kind, and please subscribe to the channel as I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year. That would be greatly appreciated. So let's get to the game summary. Seahawks win 27 to the Texans 19 at home. And let's start off with the Seattle Seahawks because they were the home team. They had a total of 316 total yards, 198 yards passing, 118 yards rushing, 4.7 yards per play. They had 19 first downs. They went 2 for 14 on third down. Not great. They went 2 for 2 on fourth down. They had 67 total plays, 2 sacks allowed, 4 punts, 12 penalties for 93 yards given up, unacceptable. 2 fumbles lost and 2 interceptions thrown. One by Sam Darnold to Derek Stingley in the fourth quarter, and one to Cooper Kupp in the second quarter of this game. I will talk about that a little bit later. And the Seahawks ended off the game with 32 minutes and 17 seconds of possession time. For the Houston Texans, they had 254 total yards, 198 yards passing, 56 yards rushing, averaged 3.7 yards per play, had 18 first downs. They went 2 for 15 on third down, went 1 for 4 on fourth down, had 69 total plays, 3 sacks allowed, 7 punts, 10 penalties for 105 yards given up, 0 fumbles lost, 1 interception thrown in the start of the third quarter by CJ Stroud to Ernest Jones. And the Texans left the game with 27 minutes and 43 seconds of possession time. For Ryan's focus players, let's talk about the Seahawks and let's talk about Sam Darnold, 17 for 31, 213 yards passing, 1 touchdown to Jackson Smith-Njigba, and of course, the 1 interception from Derek Stingley in the fourth quarter. And honestly, Sam Darnold did not have a terrible game. Kind of a decent game. It's not like he did amazing on the stat sheet, and he just kind of, again, I'm going to say this a lot and it's a broken record, but he's kind of just game manager. These are the kind of stat lines I expect from him. Not going to light the world on fire with these stats. But he did what he needed to do to win this game. Would have liked him to not throw the pick to Derek Stingley, like just completely in the fourth quarter, help them gain momentum. And there are 4 turnovers in this game, and Sam Darnold had one of them. So really, I think it was a decent game from Sam Darnold. Not much more to talk about. Him and Jackson Smith-Njigba still have an elite connection. Great to see from them, and good game from Sam Darnold. Let's get to running back, and let's talk about Zach Charbonnet. 12 carries for 49 yards, averaged 4.1 yards per carry, and had the 2 touchdowns in this game. Zach Charbonnet, man, oh man. One thing from Clint Kubiak and Mike McDonald is that they were saying in this tandem for the Seahawks that Kenneth Walker was going to get more carries than Zach Charbonnet, but they are still a tandem duo. And I'm going to highlight Zach Charbonnet here because he had a good game. Not only the 2 touchdowns for the 2 scores, but he's honestly like some games Zach Charbonnet will get no yards at all. And then other games he'll be the hot hand and the Seahawks will ride that to victory. And I really love this running back tandem of Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. But Zach Charbonnet today, just his running between the tackles against this Texans defense was very, very good. He was getting up to the second level on most carries that he was having. He ran the offense and his power, the amount of lower body strength that this man has is insane. Watching his stance and watching how powerful his legs are. Like, for me, man, I'm a guy sitting on his couch. I'm also disabled. So seeing the amount of power that this guy has in his legs, like, I wish I could do that. I wish I had that amount of power in my frame to do any of that. But great game from Zach Charbonnet, regardless. Getting the 2 touchdowns really helped this team out, and he's really had a good season, all things considered. Let's get to tight end, and let's talk about Elijah Arroyo. 4 receptions, 42 yards, average 10.5 yards per reception, no touchdowns. And you thought I was going to talk about JSN's big performance, but we'll talk about him a little bit later in my final thoughts. But Elijah Arroyo gets the focus player from me, and here's the reason why. It's not only because I wanted to talk about somebody different for this video, but it was also because Elijah Arroyo, man, number 18, he's a second round pick in this year's draft by the Seahawks. I believe he is 50th overall this draft, and he is a guy on Miami that was doing very well, and he's a pass catching threat. I love this guy. I want to see him get more involved in this Clint Kubiak style of offense because him and AJ Barner are very good tight ends. I think they can be a nice 1-2 punch. And that one of his plays he got was a downfield shot. Now he didn't get a touchdown, sadly, but he got some big yards. He got like 20 yards on one play on third down, I believe, that made the game in the first quarter. And you can see the kind of flashes that you want from a rookie tight end in Elijah Arroyo, who's a big monster pass catching threat. And I think he really had a good game. I think he was really reliable. He is the second receiver in terms of yards and receptions, other than Jackson Smith-Njigba, who actually did anything on the field on the stat sheet. So a great game from Elijah Arroyo. I think he is coming into his own, and I hope to see more from him in the future. Let's get to the Seahawks and let's talk about the D line. Let's talk about Byron Murphy, the nose tackle. 3 solo tackles, 3 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles. But man, oh man, is Byron Murphy. He's just a beast. This whole entire D line for the Seahawks put on a clinic today against this CJ Stroud led offense. And they are the main reason that they won this game today to bring us to 5-2 on the season. It's amazing. It was just a thing of beauty to watch this defense work together. That front is so deadly, and Byron Murphy is a part of that front, stuffing guys, making sure that the run game can't get going for this Texans team. And it was a thing of beauty. He really had a good game today, or last night, should I say. And I love this guy. I love that the Seahawks brought him in a year ago at pick 16, and he's shown up to be in his second year a true nose tackle threat for the Seahawks going into the future. Let's talk about DB. Let's talk about safety. Ty Okada, 6 solo tackles, 3 assisted, 1 sack, no interceptions, and he is coming in for the injured Julian Love. And man, this game, he had a field day. He was doing everything on the field that you ask from a backup safety coming in to replace one of your best safeties on this team in Julian Love at the free safety position. He is doing immaculate work as a backup. He is still playing on special teams. He still plays with a lot of hunger on special teams. This guy is a tackling machine. He can play in the box if he needs to. The one sack that he got on CJ Stroud in the fourth was a thing of beauty. And it's one of those things where he's coming on a safety blitz and he comes unblocked and just beats the crap out of CJ Stroud. And it's something amazing. You know, when you look at Ty Okada, um, obviously this season you weren't kind of expecting to see Ty Okada on the field as much as you have because you wanted Julian Love there, but he's been a suitable replacement. I think in this game in particular, he was batting passes down, making sure that the Texans could not get into the end zone as much as they wanted to. He was making sure that he was making some big plays in the fourth quarter, especially in the red zone, and it's just great to see. I love Ty Okada. Great game from him. Let's talk about linebacker and let's talk about Ernest Jones, the fourth. Four solo tackles, seven assisted, zero sacks, one interception, and one forced fumble. Man, oh man, Ernest Jones, have a day, my friend. This linebacking core of Ernest Jones and Drake Thomas has been amazing, and they did amazing in this game. Stat sheet stuffers in this game, but Ernest Jones, man, he is one of the main reasons why this defense is so good because he is calling all the defensive play signals for this defense. It's amazing, and this defense for the Seahawks is one of the best in the league. I think I don't know if they're ranked first in the NFL right off the top of my head, but they should be because they are an immaculate defense. This was two great defenses going at it. And, the interception to start off the third quarter, the Texans get the ball at half. It is 17-6. And Ernest Jones just goes in, goes, all right, what do you need from me? You're going on a drive. You're CJ Stroud. Well, I'm better. And he picks off a ball to end the first drive of the third quarter for CJ Stroud and the Texans. Just a thing of beauty. And then the forced fumble happened in the first quarter where he just gets in the backfield. Ernest Jones just gets in the backfield and tackles CJ Stroud, getting that pressure and strip sacks him. And it's brilliant. So it should say one sack, but it really isn't, I guess. But it is one forced fumble, and it's great to see. Ernest Jones, great game from him. Let's talk about the Texans. Let's talk about CJ Stroud, 23 for 49, 229 passing yards, one touchdown, one interception by Ernest Jones, two carries for 25 yards, averaged 12.5 yards per carry, zero touchdowns. Why did I add his rushing stats in here for CJ Stroud? Because he was the leading rusher on his team with the 25 yards. And that just shows that the Seahawks defense stuffed the run completely against the Texans. It was a thing of beauty to watch. But you look at CJ Stroud, his game was very pedestrian. I'm just going to say it. This offense for the Texans, their offense is in shambles right now, and it showed. A lot of these yards came in fourth quarter action where it was kind of garbage time. The game was kind of almost over. The Seahawks won by 15 points, and I think CJ Stroud had a decent game, but he also had some very big blunders in this game. The pick, he was getting sacked, he was getting hurried, he was getting rushed by this Seahawks front, and you got to take a testament to the Seahawks defense for making CJ Stroud very uncomfortable in a hostile environment. When it comes to Lumen Field, it is one of the worst places to play if you're an opposing team, and CJ Stroud really felt pressure here, but I think he had a decent game. I think this is just a microcosm of how the Texans have been over the last little bit. Now 2-4, their offense is missing some pieces, but I think if they can get their offense together, they could be a real threat, considering that their defense is really good. Let's get to running back Jaquavion Marks. 10 carries for 15 yards, average 1.5 yards per carry, 0 touchdowns, had 3 receptions, 20 yards, average 6.7 yards per reception, and the 1 touchdown to cut that lead down to 15 in the fourth. And Jaquavion Marks, man, he is interesting because he was a 4th-round pick in this year's draft for the Texans. He is a rookie behind Nick Chubb. And this rookie, man, although he doesn't look like he had a very good game on the stat sheet, there were some plays in there where he's a fighter. He's a fighter. A lot of rookies are needing to get their shots and needing to prove themselves. And when big guys are out, like a Joe Mixon, you bring in a guy like Marks, and he tries and hungers for getting some yardage. And he did some really good things in this game. I think he made some rookie mistakes, of course, with some of his runs, not really communicating with CJ Stroud on certain things. The end around play that was made, he in the second quarter or the third quarter at some point, he went the wrong way. It was a miscommunication and got buried in the backfield. He got buried on a couple of screens and things like that. But all in all, I like this guy. I think he has got some power to him. And when he's running in between the tackles, I think that's where he had a decent day. But in the receiving department, that touchdown in the end zone in the fourth quarter for CJ Stroud late in the fourth quarter, he had nobody open. Literally nobody open. The Seahawks were covering everything, and Marks just went out there and went, okay, I'm going to not only chip block to help you out with some of the pass rush, but then I'm going to release into the flat. Oh, CJ Stroud's getting pressured. He runs out of time. I'm going to run basically a play where I run basically 30 yards of just running around trying to get open in a scramble drill, and I'm going to catch a ball that's going to go in the end zone, and it's going to be an amazing catch. I think Jaquavion Marks had a really good game despite not having that great of a day on the stat sheet. Let's get to wide receiver, and let's get to Jalen Knoll. 4 receptions, 77 yards, average 19.2 yards per reception, no touchdowns. And Nico Collins was in this game. He went out of this game in the third quarter. He hit his head on the turf and possibly got whiplash. I hope he is okay. But you look at this game, and the Texans are kind of banged up at wide receiver. They don't have many great wide receivers. They don't have that cornerstone. They have Nico Collins. Nico Collins gets injured. They have Dalton Schultz, who is basically CJ Stroud's number 1 target, almost getting 100 yards in this game for 9 receptions. But he was in and out of the game. Jalen Knoll came in, and he was getting some playing time. He's a rookie, and he is a fast wide receiver. He is a guy that is super athletic. And I think if the Seahawks didn't cover him as well as they did, Nicky Memori had a really good game covering Knoll as well in the slot. Also, Josh Jobe was covering a little bit of Jalen Knoll during this game, but he had his flashes this game in the fourth and the third quarter of this game. So I think Jalen Knoll had a good game. If Nico Collins is out, I would not be surprised, Texans fans, to watch Jalen Knoll, because this guy, he's fast, he's shifty on his routes. If he can get better as a release and kind of a run after catch guy, I think he'll do pretty darn well trying to get open for CJ Stroud, because he's going to be looking for a new target if Nico Collins is out. Let's get to the Texans defense, the bright spot of this team tonight. And let's get to D lineman Will Anderson Jr. What a freak. 3 solo tackles, 2 assisted, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, and the scoop and score. Oh my God, Will Anderson. He let's talk about the scoop and score first. Let's talk about the scoop and score touchdown because the Seahawks were pinned back. Okay, it is the third quarter, and the Seahawks are pinned back at their own 5-yard line. They are third and long, and when you have a team of Texans, this front for the Texans, at least on the edges, you've got Will Anderson and you've got Danielle Hunter. That is a terrifying, terrifying prospect for your right and left tackle. Now, Will Anderson is just a freak of nature and is a beast. There's a reason why he was a top pick in that draft class along with CJ Stroud because this guy is relentless. He is already one of the premier pass rushers in the league is Will Anderson, and he comes into this play and just keeps pushing Charles Cross, the left tackle, back into the pocket, making it so that Sam Darnold then has to try to escape. He goes into the end zone, gets hit by Will Anderson, and Will Anderson just goes, okay, I'm not going to only hit you, but I'm going to also strip the ball from you and then fall on the ball to get that touchdown, making it 12 points in that third quarter. But, man, Will Anderson, just disruptive, man. He is just a man on a mission. And this defense for the Texans, they were no slouch. They played a great game. So good game from Will Anderson. Let's talk about safety. DB, Jalen Petrie, 4 solo tackles, 5 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. And he is the reason why Kenneth Walker did not have a great game on the ground, only averaging 2.5 yards per carry, Kenneth Walker. And it's because of guys like Jalen Petrie. He is a safety, but he is also playing a little bit of nickel in this Texans defense. And he's able to just run amok. He is a guy that I think is when he is downhill, he's a Nicky Mamori kind of type where he's going to hit you and he's going to hit you hard and bury you. And that's exactly how I think Jalen Petrie plays. I think this guy is a great addition to this Texans defense. He's probably one of the main reasons why this Texans defense is so lethal. And I believe they were second coming in points allowed. They only allowed 12 points per game, I believe, the Texans defense before this Monday night clash. And Jalen Petrie, man, 4 solo tackles, 5 assisted. That's 9 tackles on the day, and it's great to see Jalen Petrie performing. Wish he didn't do it against my team, but he helped stop the run in a big way when it came to limiting the explosive plays of one Kenneth Walker. Let's get to linebacker E.J. Speed, former Colt linebacker, 5 solo tackles, 1 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. Another guy on this team, along with Aziz Shair, who is just a menace in the tackling department. These defensive players, led by D'Amico Ryan, are very scary. I think that EJ Speed has, from his time on the Colts, I think he's always been a good linebacker. I think he's been a very talented linebacker, not only in the pass rush scene, but also he's been a great coverage linebacker. But his main priority is hitting and making sure that he's getting tackles, making sure that he's a secure tackler. And he showed up here, 5 solo tackles, 1 assisted. It is what it is. I think EJ Speed and this linebacking core had their hands full with JSN, Cooper Kupp, and the rest of the Seahawks offense. But I think in the tackling department, they did very well. So good game from EJ Speed. And let's get to Ryan's final thoughts. What went well? Our defense played an amazing game, another dominant showing from them. The offense had its moments in this game, helping seal this victory. JSN, the top wide receiver, having a 3 consecutive games with 100+ yards. He had 128 yards in this game. The 1 touchdown from Sam Darnold. Another thing of beauty, he is playing on the outside now as a number 1 wide receiver no longer that much in the slot. That's been a Cooper Kupp thing now, and he's doing amazing. He has what 819 yards on the season already through 7 weeks. Oh my god, he's gonna blow his receiving numbers from last year out of the water. And he is such like oh my god. JSN is such a freak, man. Like I I didn't put him as a focus player because I wanted to talk about somebody else, but oh man, I love JSN, man. I love him on this team, man. I love his connection with Darnold. It's so good. But also the defense, man. What went well? The defense. Like this defense, if they did not put up the performance like they did today, this would have been a loss at home. This could have been a loss at home. And I'm so glad that they're doing this. The Seahawks defense is doing this well without Julian Love, their starting free safety. They're doing this well without guys like Devin Witherspoon. They're one of their starting corners and one of the lifeblood guys of this Seahawks secondary. Their secondary is banged up. So to see that they are doing very well in the pass rush department with the front seven, seeing that they're doing well in the secondary somewhat with guys like Ty Okada and those kind of guys, it's brilliant. Josh Jobe, he is not a guy that you would expect to be a secondary corner along with Reek One, but he's done very well, I think, this season. So great game, and that's what went well. But what to improve on? I don't know what happened in the turnover department today. We let the Texans hang around for far too long, giving up 3 fumbles while also having a pick to Derek Stingley and also having a pick to Carlos Blacklock from Cooper Kupp. But that was a trick play. You cannot be -3 in the turnover differential in this game in the NFL, in the modern NFL, and expect to win games. If the Texans offense was at least half decent, the Seahawks probably would have lost this game. They probably would have lost this game, but I'm so happy they didn't. You guys just need to clean up some of the penalties too, like giving up what 12 penalties. You can't do that. You guys gotta fix that. My final thoughts. Overall, great win to head into the bye week with this one. Another win at home, which has been very rare in the Mike Macdonald era over the last 2 years. I believe they're now 5-7 in terms of record at home. And I again clean up some of those turnovers, clean up some of the penalties, please, because you guys are getting a little overzealous with some of the penalties you're taking. You know, I know there was a couple false starts by Anthony Bradford in this game. I don't remember all the other penalties in the world, but I think you just need to not let other teams hang around. I believe this team, once they get Devin Witherspoon and Julian Love back, they will be a true playoff contender this season. I think this team is immaculate with their defense. Their defense is so damn good. They're having one of the best times on offense. Finally, the run game is getting going with this Clint Kubiak style team. I really love this. One thing I will say about Clint Kubiak, and I should have said this in the what to improve on section, but can we stop with the trick plays? Can we stop that? Because that Cooper Kupp interception, like, why? You killed a good drive in the second quarter. You left points on the board, and you let the Texans kick a field goal out of it to make it 17-6 heading in to the half. Can we get rid of those trick plays, please? Like the Jalen Milroe plays, get rid of those. The Cooper Kupp, flipping it back to Cooper Kupp and having him throw. Can we get rid of that? No. I don't want that. The AJ Barner QB sneak kind of thing, yeah, you can keep that because that's actually working. For the Texans, your defense is insane. Will Anderson and Derek Stingley, those guys are just freaks, man. Like, just to name a few. Like, and I'm missing guys like Daniil Hunter. I'm missing guys like Jalen Petrie. I'm missing guys like Carlos Blacklock. I'm missing guys all over the place. But they're insane. Honestly, Texans, if you guys can get your offense in rhythm, and I know you've been banged up by injuries, but you guys on the offensive line too, you guys have shuffled that deck. And here's my take on it as a Seahawks fan. Trust me, we're the best people to talk to about crappy offensive lines because we've had one for multiple years. Luckily, our offensive line is getting better, but you guys have got to just you guys need to protect your star quarterback. Like CJ Stroud is a good quarterback. He can be an elite quarterback. We saw it. We saw it in his rookie year, and I think he is the future of your team. You just need to protect him better, and you guys need to find a scheme to get your rookie wide receivers open. You guys are doing really well with Dalton Schultz. He is a very reliable tight end for you guys. I would say try to scheme up some Brevin Jordan plays because your play calling in this game was kind of perplexing a little bit. I think you guys are an amazing defense, but your run game, it was just non-existent. And that might again be the Seahawks D line being just so good, but you guys got to figure out how to also fit the run a little better with your offensive line. Anyways, guys, that is it for my Seahawks game recap of Week 7 Monday Night Football. Seahawks versus Texans. Next week is a bye week, Week 8. So I will have a show. I will have a bye week show for you guys, kind of going over some stats and telling you how I'm feeling about this season and, kind of getting that kind of retrospective before we take on the Commanders in Maryland for Week 9. Anyways, have a good day. Go Hawks, go. And I would like to know your thoughts in the comment section below on how you feel about this game. Take care of yourselves and have a good day.